Please go away, obstacle. Every day you fighting me down.
Found the sound 99.9 WINN FM.
And good morning. Welcome to today's edition of Island Tea. It is the 22nd of October, as I was just telling Jamsa. It will be 10 more days, and then the month will be done and dusted. I know we all have goals that we wish we would have completed or accomplished during this month. But remember, every day is a new day to start over. And if you have not completed what you have started, don't beat yourself up. Remember, you can do it. Just keep trying. Nothing beats what they say. Nothing beats failure than a trial. I think that's how the saying go. So good morning to the Federation of St. Christopher Nevis, the regional and international diaspora. To all our listeners at home and abroad, thank you for tuning in to today's episode. And as I say good morning to the invisible man on the other side, how are you doing, kind sir?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing?
I can't. It's on.
Yeah,
okay. It's my connection.
Okay. So, Jay Black has a flu today, so he's not going to be in today.
So Jay, drink lots of juice, keep hydrated, and get well soon. We miss you already.
Absolutely.
Oh boy, yeah.
But we don't miss you enough that we want to catch whatever you have. So stay far for now.
See, he was considerate. He said he doesn't want to bring it to us. So
Good.
So we really appreciate that, Jay.
Nice
Black.
plan.
Yeah, but something is in the air, though.
Yeah, that like I was telling you, that's the third person who has come now with something that was
away.
Yes.
But
So
don't you think it's a change in the temperature too? Because that's normally when most of us get sick during the December season.
well, changing temperature directly, that doesn't really cause it. But it's just probably some kind of some contagion that people are bringing in. It might just be, I don't know. It could be COVID, but no, in the sense that our immune systems are a lot more acclimatized to it, so we get sick, but not as bad as, or we just feel that niggly feeling. You know, sometimes you have that niggly feeling where you say, "Oh, okay, let me go drink some garlic and ginger tea," and then it's gone, sort of like that. Sometimes. What? I do that.
I don't ever get the feeling to do that.
No? You
No,
don't?
like this morning I had the feeling to drink bush tea, but garlic and ginger.
Yeah, because that's a good, that's like a good, what's the word? A good infusion, elixir, whatever. I don't know. To drink for that kind of stuff. Like, just a good tonic, but also like a lot of times when the cold is coming on. So you don't get that. Like, you could tell when maybe the flu is trying to get into your system and you feel like, you're like, something is trying something.
Well, once I feel something coming on, of course, I'm going to do my Fixer Elixir. Can't give you the ingredients on here.
Fixer Elixir.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's what I call it.
It even has a cool name. Products must be, the ingredients must be even cooler.
Oh boy,
I like that. Fixer Elixir.
Fixer Elixir, yeah, and it worked.
Hope you don't have anybody from Big Pharma listening. I might go.
Oh
grab
boy,
it. You might take that name.
Don't steal my name.
Fixer Elixir.
My Fixer Elixir, yeah. But
Um,
that works. But we have to. What I'm doing now, I'm trying to get the vitamin C to work in my system, because normally when I start taking vitamin C, I would get sick. But it's been working where I am taking vitamin C and I've managed to not get sick. So on that note, folks, let's take excellent care of ourselves. As Jamsa said, let's mix up the garlic, let's mix up the ginger, let's mix up the pineapple, the orange juice, the cayenne pepper, the salt, the lemon, and let's drink it and be healthy. And if you get a cold, call me up. I can fix you up to fix the elixir.
Or the moringa.
Oh yes, I forgot.
Mhm.
Let's see, my fix elixir doesn't have a moringa, so yeah.
Or,
Mm-hmm.
you know. In fact, I'm having green tea with moringa this morning and lemon. So, yeah.
Oh, good. So nothing should hold on to you. I'm looking here at Loop Caribbean and I'm seeing a headline that says storm causes at least 6 deaths in Cuba as blackouts continue. It says Cuba's capital remained largely paralyzed on Monday and the rest of the island braced for the fourth night of a massive blackout that has generated a handful of small protests and a stern government warning that any unrest will be punished. Hurricane Oscar made landfall Sunday before crossing the island's eastern coast as a tropical storm Monday with winds and heavy rain, leaving at least 6 dead after a night that saw protests by several dozen people in urban neighborhoods like Santos Suarez and Central Havana. Some banged pots and pans in the streets while others demonstrated from their balconies. Protesters who said they have no water blocked at least one street with garbage.
Cubans growing balls, huh?
Wow. The country has, but Cubans always protested, didn't they?
Really?
I think so. The Cuban has, you hear me say the
I have
Cuban?
no sympathy. I have no sympathy for those kinds of government. None.
The
whatsoever.
country has completely halted, said homemaker Mary Quinones, 55. She cares for her mother-in-law, who is in her 80s. This hurts everyone, but the elderly most of all. The Cuban government has a low tolerance for civil disobedience, and President Miguel Diaz-Canel warned on national television Sunday that, unquote, we are not going to allow any vandalism or let anyone disturb people's tranquility, end quote. The prolonged nationwide blackout followed a massive outage Thursday night, parts of energy problems that led to the largest protests in Cuba in almost 30 years. In July 2021, those were followed by smaller local protests in October 2022 and March 2024. So I pray that it's a pretty long read, but I pray that the Cubans get some form of relief.
I always wonder if leaders who don't brook differences in opinion, independent thought, and so on. I wonder if they don't realize how weak it makes them look.
No, they feel authoritative.
I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can't think the same, and anyone who feels like they have to force people to love them and force people to fall in line, and so I don't know. It's a big problem. Just. I always feel like maybe I'm just saying that because I'm not in government. But honestly, I think I have more sense than most of these guys, honestly. Pardon the cockiness. But it's not even cockiness. It's just common sense. I mean, I just don't understand.
But it normally looks...
Why, how hard it is to use the people that you lead as a barometer, as a compass. Generally, you're not going to go wrong. Yeah. If they're complaining about something, if they're criticizing you about something, do better. Don't come down on them.
Well,
change course.
That's what weakness does.
Do a course correction. Talk to them more. Find out what can I do to be better. I just do not understand it.
Funny enough, you said talk to them more. I was speaking to a friend of mine last night, and she was saying she wants to develop a better relationship with the employees that she has to manage, and she said that's what she's going to do. She's going to constantly talk. She's going to ask them questions. She's not going to just let them be and think all is well. And I like that style of management, as you rightfully said. And
I hope no one who's listening is thinking I'm saying that, oh, you're not going to feel a way about people
talking about you.
You're going to get defensive. You're going to feel bad, but suck it up. Suck it up, and you decided to step up to lead a country. Suck it up and deal with it, and put your petty feelings aside.
Look at this. The last 2 paragraphs of this article. It says Local authorities said that the outage stemmed from increased demand from small and medium-sized companies and residential air conditioners. Later, the blackouts got worse because of breakdowns in all thermoelectric plants that haven't been properly maintained and the lack of fuel to operate some facilities. Cuba's energy minister said the country's grid would be in better shape if there had not been 2 more partial blackouts, and authorities tried to reconnect on Saturday.
But you know who they blamed?
Yep.
The U.S., of course.
De La Levy also said Mexico, Colombia, and Venezuela and Russia, among other nations, had offered to help. So you see, they blame everything but themselves and getting new stuff, etc., etc.
I'm not saying the Americans aren't to blame in the sense that, but
But
nobody
they didn't call them out.
No one told Castro to go and, no one told him to go and do what he did. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
but-
Americans are bad actors, we know.
But somebody told me the other day that
And
Cuba was in better shape when Mr. Castro was alive. It's not in its best shape at the moment.
well, that's partly because the Soviet Union fell, and after the Soviet Union fell, they stopped getting a lot of the massive subsidies they used to be getting from
Oh.
because
Good boy.
they used to get everything from Russia. They used to do a barter deal where they'd give them sugar
Mm-hmm.
and they'd get other stuff, and
Okay.
and they would get massive aid because the the Russians used the fact that they were right in the Americans' backyard
Mm-hmm.
to as a way to gain a foothold in this hemisphere. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but my thing, I've never really been a fan of the alignment with Cuba, of Caribbean government alignment with Cuba. I've never been.
Wow.
I've always felt like, I don't know, just because this is an island that's in the Caribbean Sea doesn't absolve them of a lot of their sins.
Okay.
You know?
Look at this though, Jamsta, and
Mhm.
I don't know. They said the Cuban government announced emergency measures to slash electricity demand,
Mhm.
including suspending school and university classes, shutting down some state-owned
Yeah, I saw
workplaces,
that,
and
yeah.
canceling non-essential services. How is this
Yeah, I saw that.
measures to slash when you're going to close schools and
Yeah,
university?
I
How
saw that.
beneficial is this?
I saw that yesterday.
Wow.
And I saw some pictures of the generators. You could tell those are probably Soviet era generators that you could tell. And even before I saw the pictures, I remember when I heard the story, I said, oh, it's probably just old stuff that they couldn't afford to, over the years
Wow.
couldn't afford to replace and so on.
Mhm.
And these things are expensive, huh? Especially when you
Mhm.
consider you're talking about a country with millions of people.
Mhm.
It's not like us where it's like not even, it's barely 50,000.
Okay.
Imagine having to refurbish a plant or plants
Mhm.
supporting millions of people. You know,
Yeah.
it's not cheap. So I could see why that became an issue, especially if you've been under an embargo for so long, sanctions and so on, where you
Mhm.
couldn't import a lot of
Anything,
stuff
yeah.
regularly, and then the Russians.
Let me not say anything, but
Yeah.
not.
The Russians aren't exactly technologically advanced when it comes to that kind of stuff. All the
Mhm.
technology goes into making stuff to kill people.
Mm.
So yeah.
So, Montserrat has general elections on Thursday?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. And I see here.
I saw Mr. World for Smollett
Mhm.
on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, yeah. I hear he told me he told me he just came from the airport. He said they went to
Montserrat?
Montserrat. So I said,
Oh.
the launch of festival, because the carnival is on the same time as us.
Yeah, Christmas.
Well, yeah. So he said no, they have elections. I said, oh.
yeah.
He told me, yeah. So he told me they had elections. So
Mhm.
they hired them for a rally, I guess. And, yeah.
Because I'm reading here, I'm sure Burl will like this one. It says, Kernan to be reinstated as general election candidate. It says a former legal advisor at the Guyana-based Caribbean CARICOM Secretariat, George Kernan, has successfully appealed a high court ruling barring him from being a candidate in Thursday's general election in Montserrat. Kernan is a candidate of the United Allegiance MNI party that is being led by former Premier Reuben Meade. Last week, Justice Brian Cottle upheld the decision by the returning officer to disallow the candidacy of Kernan, a former senior legal officer with the Barbados-based Caribbean Development Bank. But in its ruling on Monday, the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court said that the returning officer exceeded her jurisdiction and that the returning officer had no authority to rule Kernan's nomination invalid. The ECSC, which heard the matter on Saturday and delivered its ruling by Zoom on Monday, said any questions regarding Kernan's nomination has to be made on nomination day, October the 10th, and no other candidates had officially made an objection to Kernan's candidacy. So according to the law, any person entitled to be present at nomination proceedings may challenge the validity of any other candidate's nomination paper.
Okay, so election's Thursday, huh?
Thursday, yeah.
Okay. And, just reminding listeners, we are having our first resumption episode of Money Matters the day before the American election.
No.
Yeah.
No. You said the 4th, isn't it?
That's a Monday.
Yes.
But the elections isn't the 5th? The American election.
Isn't the election the 4th? Oh, jeez.
No, the 5th.
My bad.
It's always a Tuesday.
I humbly apologize. Because
Yeah,
I'm
no
like,
problem,
what?
A Tuesday.
Okay.
So we have a repeat episode this morning from October 30th, 2023. Really great conversation with two economics students from Bryant College and a lawyer. And he quizzes them about their take on the economy and about their suggestions for fixing St. Kitts Nevis economy. So listen at 10 o'clock, a repeat of Money Matters from October. And perfect timing, kind of, because today is October 22nd. So it's roughly a year later. And a lot of this things are current. He usually does this little current affairs finance roundup at the top, and he was talking about unrest in the Middle East because at that point the thing in Israel would have been 3 weeks old because it was October 7th last year. So it was pretty interesting. Still pretty timely, and just to whet your appetite for the return of Money Matters. Now, if you're interested in sponsoring Money Matters or any other program, or just advertising with us, give us a call at 466-9586. So don't forget, a repeat of Money Matters. 3 brilliant Bryant College students will be, now remember this, you of course you can't call, obviously, because this is a repeat. 3 brilliant Bryant College students, 2 economics, 1 doing law, sit down with Dr. Terrence Martin. That's at 10 o'clock. Yeah.
I see you put something in the chat here with the telephone.
Yeah.
A cellular phone in particular. It says woman wedged upside down between rocks for several hours after trying to retrieve her phone. And it says a woman who tried to retrieve her lost phone from between boulders in Australia's Hunter Valley became stuck upside down for 7 hours before she was rescued earlier this month.
Wow.
How did she manage with blood just flushing?
No, but thing doesn't work like that though. Gravity.
But upside it down, you say?
No, it doesn't. I thought so, but no.
Really? You're not gonna feel funny?
No difference.
Oh boy.
Being upside down or right side up.
Stuck between boulders. I wouldn't like that because I can see my fall.
That's crazy though. I mean, when I saw the story, I was thinking for a phone, yeah, but
I wonder what's the condition of the phone though. The article's pretty long. So
let me see.
The good thing is she has some youth, so she's 23.
The area where she fell was about 50 meters, 164 feet down, an overgrown bush track that was inaccessible even with off-road vehicles. And then, lady, how do you do that in Australia where everything is trying to kill you?
I know, snakes. Jeez.
And everything, the spiders. I mean,
scorpions.
Listen, the things here that we laugh at are trying to kill you in Australia.
Yeah.
Hey.
Wow.
Yeah. So let me see if she got her phone back.
I'm trying to see.
It must be an iPhone 15 Pro Max.
Even that, it's replaceable. Her life isn't. She only has one. There are many of those phones that were manufactured. She could have gotten the next one.
Miraculously, she escaped with only minor scratches and bruising. The woman was taken to the hospital for observation, and her phone, however, remains. See,
Remained what?
All for naught. Her phone remains trapped between the rocks.
Exactly. A new
There you
one.
go. Get a new phone.
You see, it isn't worth it.
So
Wow.
funny.
See,
All of
once
that-
freed at 4:30 p.m. that day, Watt said she was 100% relieved. She was tired and was quite dizzy. All of her blood was in her head, and she had nothing in her legs, so she couldn't stand. She couldn't really walk at that stage. You see, that's what I'm telling you. Everything goes down.
That's what she thinks.
Huh?
That's not
No,
how
that's what it
works.
says.
No,
Yeah.
that's what she thinks. That her blood was in her head.
Miraculously, she escaped. you are.
No, but it's true.
Oh Lord!
Look it up afterwards, and maybe that would be a nice
But she
icebreaker
was
to ask the
quite.
doctor.
She was tired. She was quite dizzy.
That would be a nice.
All of her blood was in her head. She had nothing in her legs, so she couldn't stand.
Oh boy.
Okay, relax.
Okay, yeah, that'd be our icebreaker question.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the break. 8:30. We have the good doctor coming up, weekly dose. More breast cancer info for our listeners.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Double the cash back. Double the groceries. Double the savings. Only at Hortford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. Happening now, when you make a higher purchase, you'll get double cash back coupons for double the free groceries. Are you serious? Shop for the furniture and appliances you need, and we'll help you fill your fridge and kitchen too.
Nah, me.
But that's not all. You'll also have a chance to win free groceries for a year or a 4-piece living room set that will transform your space into a cozy haven.
Say what?
Don't miss out on double the rewards and double the savings. Visit Hortford's Furniture and Appliances or Ashley Furniture Home Store today and start your journey to a better home and a fuller kitchen. Terms and conditions apply. Visit any Hortford's location for details. Double the deals, double the delight, double the cash back, double the groceries, double the savings. Only at Hortford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Stores, happening now.
Well, it's October, and the breast cancer outreach continues. Here comes Weekly Dose with Dr. Natalie Osborne.
Good morning, Doc, and good morning, Dr. Leon. How are you both doing this morning?
Hi, good morning.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm doing quite well. It is good to have Dr. Leon here with us this morning. Most of our audience should remember her. She was here with us, I think the last time was last year. She is one of our local oncologists. So it's always good to have additional support and expertise when we're discussing such an important topic. So we continue our series on breast cancer today. We're still in the month of October. Though the month of October, we emphasize breast cancer awareness. We want to also remind everyone who's listening to us, breast cancer doesn't just occur in October. Persons are diagnosed with it any time of the year, any day of the week. So it's important. So we are continuing our education. Our only goal is that our listening audience can learn and take action, because knowledge is power. So let's go right ahead.
Indeed. So, Doc, what are the signs and symptoms of breast cancer?
So we continue to talk about breast cancer because we want to make sure our audience is well aware. One of the most important things is to know what are the signs associated with the disease. So in early breast cancer, you may have nothing at all. You may not recognize any sign, okay? And that is actually the best time. We would love to diagnose breast cancer. But if the cancer continues unattended, it would continue to grow. So some of the first thing that a person may recognize is there is a lump in the breast. They feel a hard lump that wasn't there previously, Jamsta, and you get concerned about that. But however, I'm emphasizing so that our audience are not scared that all lumps are not cancerous. Most lumps actually are not cancer. So breast cancers, depending on the type, can have a variety of symptoms. Also, along with the lump, you can have pain in the breast. You can have changes in the skin that you don't normally see, where the skin feels and look kind of lumpy, bumpy, all right? You can have your nipple changing, where your nipple pointed outward, it's now sunken in. The skin can become thickened. It can look red, discolored as well too. So there are changes. You may see if it is allowed to progress beyond unattended, you can see a redness in the skin. The tumor can also break through from inside the breast tissue and appear to the skin. That's where it becomes pretty advanced locally. You can also feel a lump under your armpit, okay? Because what happens, the lymph nodes that drains the breast, a lot of them are in the axilla, so that is one of the most common places for breast cancer to first spread is to the lymph nodes or the lumps under your armpit there. So we heard about these nodes, so you can feel some of them. And in rare cases, we've had patients who present with back pain, different pain, and they have been staged at stage 4, diagnosed at stage 4. That is the case that we do not want to see.
Oh.
So how is breast cancer diagnosed?
So
So we have different tools in order to do the diagnosis for breast cancer, but I must want to say that the most important tool we have is our own hands. The cell examination is quite
Okay, so
sorry
she's
about
talking
that. We have
about
some issues
how
with-
breast cancer is diagnosed, but she's just readjusting her mic at this time. Okay, go right ahead, Dr. Leon.
I was saying that we have a lot of tools in order to do diagnosis for breast cancer, but the most important tool we have is our own hands. The cell examination is quite important in order to detecting anything early, right? Mostly of the patient detecting any lump, any alteration in the breast before come to see a doctor, right? We have other tests that we can do for patients, for example, ultrasound, MRI. We can do biopsy for the patient. That is when we take a small sample for the tumor itself, and immunohistochemistry, that is a special test when we send in the sample in order to see how the tumor is compounded.
Yes, excellent. So, and the mammogram, of course, is very
Oh,
important.
yeah,
Yes.
that is the most
That is
important,
yeah, and
actually.
We want to emphasize
Yes,
that because
we do screening with the mammogram, and it's quite important because that allows to detecting anything sooner.
yes, and so Dr. Leon spoke about the breast biopsy. Ultimately, to put a stamp that a cancer is there, you need samples. What do you mean by a biopsy? We take a sample from the breast and it's sent to the pathologist. Okay, that's the doctor that helps to diagnose this. They look at this tissue and they determine, yes, there's cancer cells, no, they're not cancer cells. And that would put the final stamp on that, and then you can continue.
Quick aside, is that painful? I mean,
No,
how small is the sample?
Okay, that's a good question. We've never got into depth about that, but there are different forms of biopsies that we can do. We can do fine needle, where you get a small needle and you take punches or little samples, okay? You're just trying to get cells. You can have a bigger needle, we call it like a core biopsy, where you take tissue. You tend to numb the skin up nicely and numb the tissue up, and then you get some of those. And then they had other things that you can do where we call an incisional biopsy. Think about it. You've got a cake, okay? And you can take a slice of that cake. So that's an incision. So we have the tumor there in the breast. You take a piece of it, and that's an incisional biopsy, and that is sent to be tested.
Okay.
Okay, and then in other instances, you can take the entire lump. We call that an excisional biopsy. You take out the entire lump. Why we do different variations of these? Because some are more reliable field than others. If you have a small needle and you have, think about something like
bigger sample size.
Yes, you're talking about sample size. You have a small needle and you try to poke an apple or an orange, and the tumor, although there's a lump, cancer cells may not be in the entire lump. That's an important thing to know. So if you stick the needle in, you may happen to stick an area that doesn't have any cancer cells, and then you can have a false negative. So having more tissues is always essential to be confirmed. Sometimes the pathologist would then tell you, I do not have enough samples. Okay, so that is an important, good question. Let's continue.
Okay, so for Dr. Leon, what are the stages of breast cancer?
Well, staging is a tool that the health care providers have in order to first put the patient in different prognosis they is meant to be in order to know if the patient will have a good prognosis. Also, the staging is important because we can determine if the patient have the disease is localized in the breast or already spread to other organs. So it's an important tool for prognosis, for diagnosis, for treatment plan, in order for me to decide what will be the best approach in the case. We have different stages. We have the stage 0, that is when the tumor is having spread to other tissues in the breast. We have stage 1 when the tumor is small, is less than 2 centimeters. We have the stage 2 when the tumor is more than 2 but is less than 5 centimeters. The stage 3 is when the tumor is bigger than 5 centimeters. And in the stage 4, we have when the tumor metastasizes other places, right? This is a simple way to put the staging, but it's more complex than that, because sometimes you have a patient that we don't detecting any tumor in the breast, but somewhere the tumor is in the lymph nodes, and they can mean that the patient could be stage 3 even if the tumor size is small. So it's a really complex mechanism we use in order to put the patient and know the spread.
So just to emphasize, it's important, just so you get that, the most important thing for the average individual, because they love to ask us, Doc, what stage am I in, is the stage 0 to stage 4. We know that it is much more complex when you look at all the details there. So you know you want to catch this disease in as early stage as possible. Stage 0, we spoke about the cancer being in situ or localized within the cell of where it originated from. If we can make that diagnosis there, that person has almost 100% 5-year survival cure. That is excellent. As you go down the stages now, the prognosis is different. Stages is also extremely important in what type of treatment is going to be used, and we're going to talk more about that and how you go about treating these individuals.
So, what is inflammatory breast cancer?
So I guess I would have mentioned this before. A lot of these things too, we're re-emphasizing to our audience and to new individual. Inflammatory breast cancer, that's a condition that is rare. It's seen in 1 to 5% of the different types of breast cancer. And what happened, it can be very aggressive and it can be misdiagnosed. That's why I keep re-emphasizing this breast cancer. Because what happens, the cancer cells can block the ducts. Think about it, the lymphatic drainage system drain the debris and everything bad away from the tissues, and all parts of our body have these lymphatic system. But what happens, the cancer infiltrate into these ducts and they're not draining. So the tissue is accumulated and the liquid is accumulated, the breast becomes bigger, it looks red, it looks irritated, it becomes painful, and oftentimes women can think that they have a breast abscess. Sometimes persons have gone to their physicians and been treated with antibiotics, but you realize after a week, after a second week, you realize that that persists. So that's why I'm emphasizing this, and it is not an abscess of the breast. Also, you want to keep in mind, breast abscesses occur mostly in individuals and women who are lactating or breastfeeding. There should be no reason under normal circumstances a woman who's 50 years, doctor, should have a breast abscess. So you have to keep that in mind, and we're emphasizing it for young physicians, for family doctors as well who are seeing these patients. So if you see that, you want to make sure they're seen and addressed as early as possible, because that can be a mistake that we make. that can cost someone their life.
And while we're on the topic of rare breast cancers, tell us about triple negative breast cancer.
Well, triple negative breast cancer is a rare subtype of cancer. It's usually seen in patients around 10-50% of the total, and is more common in Black women and in younger women, right?
Yeah.
That is the most important here because our population is that kind of people, right? The triple negative have a characteristic. They have three important things that we have to take in consideration, and is that the tumor lack for estrogen receptors, progesterone receptor, and HER2 receptor. All of them are negative. Why this tumor is so complex? Because we have just a fewer tools in order to fight this disease, because the tumor doesn't respond to other treatments such as hormonal treatment.
Yes, that's an important point because there are several of our patients, young females in our community who've been diagnosed with this triple negative, and it makes much more complex in terms of treatment because it's not responding to the normal treatment that we have. You've heard of things like the anti-estrogen treatment. It's not going to respond to that, so you have to get more creative and have drugs that are new on the market, much more expensive to access to. Hence, we spoke about this socioeconomic component of having the disease.
Exactly.
If you do not have financial support, it makes it much more complex.
When I hear triple negative, I think negative means you don't have anything. But then, boy,
No.
this negative means something else. So as we continue along, Dr. Osborne, what is Paget's disease of the breast?
Okay, it's another rare type of breast cancer too. That typically you're going to see that on your nipple, and just by the nipple and the inner part of the areola. You know, we have the nipple there, and you have that tissue around it that's a little bit tough and it's darker than the normal breast tissue. That's your areola. So you're going to see that skin start breaking down. It often looks like eczema, a little patchy thing at first. Some people said it's itchy. So some persons think it's like a dermatitis, just a reaction there in the skin. They go to the doctor, they give them some sort of creams and some sort of treatment. And also I wanted to keep in mind, if you realize time is going and this hasn't resolved, you realize that 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that should resolve if it's just a local irritation of the skin or dermatitis. It doesn't resolve, you know that you need to have it seen, get a biopsy there, because we've seen that in our community, and persons, if not aware, that can go on undiagnosed for several weeks and months. So it's just like a little ulcer there on the nipple of the breast that persists. It can become itchy, and it's telling us that there is some infiltration of the cancer from the ducts there. Commonly it's an infiltrative ductal cancer that spreads to the skin. Remember, we said the cancer can start in the ducts or the lobules.
So if most general physicians, once they see that, do you think it's best that they direct you to oncologist or doctor that deals with cancer right away if they're not sure?
Yes, especially, or you direct them to a surgeon. Ultimately, you're going to need biopsy of this. That is one of the key things. To make a diagnosis, you're going to need biopsy. Yes, so they can direct them to someone who have much more experience or expertise, a surgeon, an oncologist. But the important thing is that this is not left unchecked and unattended.
Okay. As we continue along, what is a mastectomy and what is the goal of breast cancer surgery?
Yes, I like that question because the mastectomy simply means that we're removing the breast. So think about it. Though it sounds scary and overwhelming, if you have a disease that begins in the breast, you need to get rid of all of those tissue. The goal is to get the breast cancer at its point of origin. All right, so the mastectomy, you have the nipple, you have the areola, you have all that breast tissue, you're taking all of that, okay? And you're also taking some of the nodes on the armpit, under the axilla there. And that is to then help in terms of staging. Because ultimately, you're going to have to remove the tumor at its beginning. that's one of the first aim of treatment and surgical treatment is to get rid of the tumor, because if that tumor is not gotten rid of, it continues to grow, and it continues to send off these micro invasion, and it spreads. So you get that tumor there. Not everyone will need a mastectomy. It depends on the size of the tumor, okay, and how early that person present. Because there are instances where we can do quite well conservative treatment, where you just remove the lump or the cancer itself and a wide area, making sure you have clear margins, meaning that the tumor, when the pathologist look at it, he makes sure that at the edges or the borders, there's no remaining cancer. So then you can say you've taken all of the cancerous cells.
8:49, it's Weekly Dose with Dr. Natalie Osborne, and we've got a special guest, Dr. Leon. I think this is a good time to once again let women know what a mammogram is and how important it is to get a mammogram.
So a mammogram, we have to keep emphasizing it. That's the tool that we have that can help us fight this disease. Very few diseases we have a direct screening. So the mammogram is just an x-ray of the breast. All right, so it's just like you're going to do a chest x-ray, you're going to do any x-ray before. It's an x-ray of the breast. And what it is, it takes the breast tissue and it compresses it slightly between two metal plates, and you're trying to get the tissue to spread out so you can see all aspect of the breast. And then what happened, the radiologist would look at the images, and they're looking for changes there in the images. We're looking for things we call microcalcification, just those little whitey dots. And the radiologist, who's the expert, or should be the expert in it, reading these, will then come back and say, I see some abnormal changes, and it can indicate that we need to do further studies. Okay, they can, but if you have your screening mammogram, it will pick up any tumor even before you start palpating it. And that is the most important, because you want to be able to make the diagnosis if there's going to be a breast cancer at stage 0 or stage 1, even before you have a lump that is palpable. That is why we emphasize women need to get their yearly screening mammogram. If I had a mammogram, which I did in October of last year, and I need to repeat mine, why is that important? My radiologist can look at the x-ray or the mammogram from last year and make comparisons.
Wow.
And so if there are any early changes, we
absolutely
need to get this addressed.
I was just about to ask that. And you answered it.
Yes. So that is why our mammograms are extremely important, and I cannot emphasize it enough, because if you are diagnosed in stage 0 or stage 1, it is not the same as stage 4. And I know my oncologist here would agree with me, Dr. Leon.
Yes, completely agree with you.
Yeah. Oh boy. Ladies, it's very serious, so go and get your mammogram. So Dr. Leon, what factors determine the outcome of breast cancer?
Yeah.
Well, we have different factors in order to say that the patient have a good outcome of the disease or a poor outcome. One of them is the lymph node metastasis. When the patient have a lymph node metastasis, that is a serious factor we taking in consideration. Why? Because that is one of the way that the tumor is spread all over the body. So if the patient have several lymph node positive, that is a bad prognosis factor, right? Also, we're taking in consideration if the patient have metastasis, they mean that the tumor already spread to other organs. So we are talking at advanced stage of the disease, and the prognosis is poor. We taking in consideration the tumoral side, how big the tumor be. If the tumor is bigger, the prognosis is worse, right? Also, if the tumor already go to the vessels, right? We have different ways to spread the tumor spread. Actually, they can go for the lymphatic vessels, and they also can go for the blood vessels. So if the patient have that kind of infiltration, when she was diagnosed, the prognosis is poor. If the patient have a more aggressive type of the disease, such as triple negative inflammatory disease, the prognosis also is poor. And we also taking in consideration the tumoral grade. The tumoral grade, we get that for the biopsy, for the pathology report, sorry. When the we get the grade of the tumor, we are looking at if the cells remind the cell that originated the cancer, if look like the cells in cell, or if the cell look different, right? So we have different state in that one, grade 1, 2, and 3. If the patient have stage 3, is a poor prognosis too.
Oh boy. Wow. So besides surgery, what other treatments are available for breast cancer, Dr. Leon?
Well, we have different treatment that we prescribe for patients. Not everybody need all the treatment. That is important. If the patient is diagnosed early, maybe they don't need additional treatment. We can use chemotherapy. That is the treatment that everybody knows. We call chemo. That is when we combine different drugs together. Could be multiple drug or could be only one drug, so what we combine for the patient. We also have radiation treatment. Radiation is a treatment that we can do external. We call that external beam radiation, or could be intraoperative radiation during the surgery. We also can use immunotherapy. The immunotherapy is referred when we medication that we put the patient in order to improve the immune system to fight against the cancer. We also have the target therapy. The target therapy is when we detect the mutations in the patient and we can target specifically what the patient have. This is one of the most newest treatment we have, and is really good for patient. And usually the patient have better outcome with we detecting this kind of mutations. And we also have the hormonal therapy. This is important in breast cancer. Why? Because we already know that some of the tumor express estrogen receptor and progesterone receptor, so we can target that, and the patient have better outcomes.
Okay, that's good. Wow.
So I'm hoping that everybody is understanding as we go and explaining this. I don't know if we have any questions, Jamsta, but we can
yeah, we did have a call coming in earlier. So caller, maybe you can call in about maybe 3-4 minutes or so, but we have a question here. How can men develop breast cancer, and if so, how common is it?
Okay.
Asking for a friend.
You're asking for Okay. Although men generally have less breast tissue than women. Remember, we said that the cancer starts in the breast tissue, the mammary tissue, the ducts or the lobules. Men have less than them, and they're underdeveloped, so it is not common, but it can happen. We say that 1% of men can develop, or 1 in 1,000 men can develop. We said women develop breast cancer 1 in 8. That's the rate we have most recently. So we're saying if we have 8 women walking randomly down the street, at any point one of them can develop. So with men now, it's going to be 1 in 1,000. So it is very small, but they can. And once developed breast cancer, especially in our black males, it is as aggressive, and it needs to be treated and addressed as you would with a female. We still also, as we know, that we see breast cancer in black males even a little bit more than in the white or the Caucasian counterpart. We also know too that breast cancer, when seen in a black female, the same as a black male, tend to occur much younger and tend to be much more aggressive. As Dr. Leon explained, you've got the different more aggressive type, like the triple negative. Those are the type of cancer we see. So it can happen in male. So if a male feels an abnormal lump in his breast that was not there before, he needs to see his physician and insist that that it be addressed. And we can't just say whitewash it. We tend to whitewash a lot of things. Oh, it's nothing. Oh, it was something that bit me. But you realize weeks are passing and it persists. So we've had to treat males with breast cancer, though very rare.
Okay.
What determines when chemotherapy is used to treat breast cancer?
Well, we use the chemotherapy in different settings, right? For example, if the patient have the tumor too big in the beginning, we need to use chemo before surgery. We call that neoadjuvant chemotherapy, right?
So that helps the tumor to shrink, so that I can come in then and do the surgery, especially if you want to spare the breast. Some people don't want their breast removed. That is also an option. So if that tumor shrinks down, then now we can do a more conservative surgery and just remove a section of the breast instead of the entire breast.
If we use the chemo after surgery, we call that adjuvant chemotherapy, right? And we also can use the chemo in combination with other treatments. For example, radiation in combination with chemotherapy.
Okay, it's 2 minutes on to 9 o'clock, and we move on to. So how does breast cancer spread?
Okay, breast cancer spread in several different ways. That is why the studies have been so important in terms of making advancement in treatment and having all these different options that we now have access to. So it can spread directly. What does that mean? So it starts in the breast tissue, and if unattended or unchecked, it can spread to the skin. Okay? It can spread to the nipple. It can spread to the areola. It can spread to the chest wall. So this is local spread or direct spread. It can spread via the lymphatic ducts. Remember, we said the lymphatic ducts are there. It's part of the immune system, and it drains away any debris, takes away any dead bacteria, remove things that are not good there. So the breast cancer, once it starts in the site of origin, it can then spread to the lymphatic system, and that is how it gets to the nodes. It gets to the nodes that are under the armpit. It has lymph nodes just behind the breastbone. We call that the sternum. So it can spread there too, and sometimes spread to the other breast. It has happened. And so that is how it gets to spread, not only there, then it gets to spread to the lymph nodes that drain to the liver, and then we have metastasis to the liver. It gets into the lymph nodes, it goes to the brain, and that is how we can get that, things like that. So there are different ways and stuff. So it spread to the lymph nodes just above your collarbone as well too. And we've had person present and said, Doc, I have a lump here that continues to grow. And then when you diagnose it, it is a metastasis of a breast cancer. You can spread via the blood. And so it's going to go via the blood to the areas where, like the liver, the lung, the brain, and the bone. And that is how we call it spread. So either direct contact by closeness, it can spread via the lymphatic system and also via the blood.
What are some of the side effects of chemotherapy we need to be aware of?
That's right up Dr. Leon's alley there.
Okay, so the side effect of the chemo. It's important to know that the chemo is medication we use in order to kill malignant cells, but also affecting the good cells in the body, right? So the cells that are more affecting is the cell that we change constantly in our body. For example, the hair, so we can see hair loss. We can hear changing in the needles. We can have vomiting, diarrhea, fatigue, and that is basically the most important symptom the patient experience. It's important to point out because many people are afraid to chemo, that not everybody develop the same toxicity. We have patients that go through to chemotherapy, to treatment nicely without no toxicity at all, and we have the other part of the patient that maybe have digesting symptoms such as vomiting, diarrhea, and fatigue. That is the most common. The other symptom that we can see in the patient is they affecting directly the blood, right? The bone marrow. So we can see that the patient experience anemia, the immune system could be low, and the platelets could be low. That is the most common symptoms we can see.
I see here we have lots of appetite or weight changes, nail changes, hot flashes.
Yes, that is causing for hormonal treatment. Remember that we block the hormones for patients, so we induce menopause, basically. So that is the reason the patient can have change of mood, hot flashes, and that kind of symptomatologies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Leon, what is chemotherapy?
Well, we speak a lot about chemotherapy already. The chemotherapy is medication we use in order to shrink tumors or kill cells, right? And we have different scenarios that we use chemotherapy. We already addressed that. Chemo for me is an important tool in order to achieve what we want, that is that the patient go into remission. We call remission with the patient we cannot see no tumor in the body. So that is an important tool in order to achieve that. So,
wow. So after chemotherapy, Dr. Osborne, I'm going to throw this one out to you. This is just my question. What can one do to rebuild what we would have lost for those of us who will lose something? Because as she said, some of us can go through the therapy and not lose anything. So for those of us who would have lost.
Yeah, because as any drug, the side effects are always described, and you may have experience that is different to mine. We know that. So once you've done your treatment, of course, you're going to, and while you're going through your treatment, you're going to make lifestyle changes, of course, in terms of your eating healthy overall. You're making sure that you're active, you do some physical exercise, get all your nutrients and your vitamin and stuff, because that is helping you to stay strong as you go through this battle. Remember, going to chemotherapy is a fight. All right. And this is a fight that we want everybody and most of us to win. That is the ultimate goal. So while you're fighting this deadly disease, you want to stay healthy. You want to stay mentally and physically well. Stay close to your family. Get that family and emotional support from those who you know you can count on. You want to stay exercising, get some walks in. If you're a jogger, jog. If you go to the gym, you want to do that, even though you might have to modify it. And you want to eat as healthy. As long as well as the chemotherapy treatment, Dr. Leon would also give you some kind of dietary ideas recommendations. Recommendations.
It's important also to know that the recovering of the patient, we need this factor that the doctor already addressed, but also some of them, they disappear in short time. We have effect that just go in a few months after treatment, but other of them, they take time to recover. For example, the neuropathy that the patient experiences, that is the numbness in the finger and the foot that we see often in our patient for the chemo, they could take about 1 year or 2 years to recover. So that is important to keep coming for consultation, for follow-up consultation, do vitamins in order to improve the body, and live a healthy life.
So we don't want to scare anybody because I know sometimes all of this information does seem overwhelming. Ultimately, we are trying and we're pushing to make sure that we keep our people in this community healthy and alive. So though we're going to go through a little bit of tough time with the chemotherapy and all this, we're going to come through on the other end and we're going to do well. And we want to increase our 5-year survival rate. That is extremely important. So if we can get our population to 99% of them to be living 5 years after being diagnosed with the disease, it is important. Also important, I can't emphasize it enough, get your screening mammogram. Your mammography is for screening or for diagnosis. If there's nothing in your breast, you're using it for screening. You're getting your yearly screening. We've got 2 good radiologists in our federation. Please, there's access to health care here, so we got to take advantage of it. No woman can tell me she cannot get a mammogram done here on the island. I know you will not be telling me the truth. So let's go out and get our screening mammograms, and that is the way we fight the disease. So if it does appear, we treat it early and we win this battle. So that's how we're going to end here, unless there's a question or any other comment.
You did a pretty good job.
An excellent job as usual.
Twice you answered questions I was about to ask. The second one was I was going to ask you about the triple negative, because logically it seemed to me that if it affected men, it had to be a fact of a variation of the triple negative, because obviously men would have less progesterone
and you have genetic risk factors too in rare cases. Remember we spoke about genetic risk factors. So if you have a male in your family with breast cancer, there could be a genetic history there as well, and it's something that's a strong family history, like your brother, for example. That's a direct family relation.
Oh, so the male line stays on the male side and the female?
No, because it's my brother, but it can increase. And remember, we talk about the risk factors, and family history is a risk factor. But if your brother were to develop it, that should bring more alarm or more concern to the other family members, especially the female, just to make sure keep their checks going.
I would like to share an experience. I only have 2 males in the federation so far. I have been working here for 8 years, and in those cases, they have estrogen and progesterone positive. So it's not only triple negative. They can have have the behavior of the tumor could be the same
As
in
a
women.
female,
So
yeah.
we can have different subtypes, not only triple negative.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
All
that's
right,
that's
that's
a bit
excellent.
good information to know.
And I guess the person that called, maybe you answered the question. So
Well, let's
that's why
hope,
they didn't
because
call back.
I think we did a thorough job, and we keep
Yes.
re-emphasizing as much as we can, so that if you didn't pick it up this week, you can pick it up next week. And next week we have one more session on breast cancer, because every bit of information that we put out there and we make persons aware of what's going on, it actually helps. Okay, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Sure.
Righteous.
Thank you, ladies.
Have a wonderful day, everyone. Dr. Leon, it was awesome having you
Yep,
here.
a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank
Come
you for
again.
inviting me.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye.
And Weekly Dose returns next week with Dr. Natalie Osmond. We have two members of the Creative Economy, the Cultural Heritage Unit, I guess. Cultural Heritage Unit, Alicia Daniel and Vernon Troy, coming up at 9:15.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM.
I ain't got no hurricane safety tips now. Well, Skellett got, and together we can weather the storm. So, check this. Prepare for power outages. Charge devices before a storm strikes. Develop a plan in the event that electricity goes. Learn where and how to shut off your home's electricity. Ensure that there are no trees in the lines near you. If you are experiencing low voltage, turn off the main switch in your home. Do not touch wet appliances. You feel only Nima can give safety tips? Well, Skellett can too. So be sure to stay tuned to Skellett's Facebook page and website for updates about the outages and restoration. For emergencies, our contact numbers are 465-2013, 661-2013, and 600. I repeat, 465-2013, 661-2013, and 600. Remember, with Skellett's hurricane safety tips, together we can weather the storm.
Reliable and responsible. Skellett is here for you. Powering our community.
Eleven minutes after 9 o'clock. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking 4 minutes before we have the people from Creative Economy. That's where the 4 came from. Don't laugh. Hey, don't laugh.
I was like, after
Not
4?
nice, not nice.
Oh boy.
Yep, 9:11. In 4
Oh,
minutes,
boy.
we have the Creative Economy team. All sorts of stuff happening for Carnival as we get close to Carnival and the Christmas season. So we're gonna send them. I want to send them over to have them seated and everything. And yeah, so
You saw that I sent you a few things yesterday, right?
I think I did.
Okay. I
So you
think
saw Jay Black in the comments.
No, I didn't. I was busy with the questions. What did
Okay.
Mr. Black say?
Well, he said, I forgot to tell the doctor. He said good morning.
Oh, okay. So, Doc, if you're listening,
friend.
good morning.
He wanted to say good morning to his friend.
Oh, sorry he couldn't
And,
be here.
and he said, "She right. The phone is worth it." You know, he has to be contrarian, right?
Oh boy.
But I probably wouldn't say that because if it's like an expensive phone, if it's like an expensive phone, you're not necessarily gonna be like, just let that go. I'll buy another one.
Oh boy.
Okay, so we have Creative Economy coming up in 3 minutes. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna let you guys hear a little bit of Nado HD in the meantime. His big tune
Between
for
here and
Carnival.
here.
Yeah. Meet
keeps me on the road. Digga ding ding. I've been in the streets before. Every time I get that grade, I just want more and more, like a kid in a candy store. The vibes for me is everything. So much fun, so exciting. As I touch down, I hear the rhythm. The sounds of the bands and people jamming. I hear it. I hear them. Sound it out loud. Everywhere I go. Say it's me, this is my home. I wear it so proud. I want the world to know. Say it's me, this is my home. The music is sweet down here. The vibes are just nice down here. Them girl love to wine down here. Music is the life down here. Revelers in the streets, jamming. 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 Last stop is the big encore. So many costumes on display. We sweat and party night and day, like a kid in a candy store. This fight for me is everything. So much fun, so exciting. As I touch down, I hear the rhythm. The sounds of the bands and people jamming. I hear it. I hear them. Sound is out loud. Everywhere I go. Say kids need, this is my home. I wear it so proud. I want the world to know. Say kids need, this is my home. The music is sweet down here. The vibes are just nice down here. Them girl love to wine down here. Music is the life down here. Revelers in the streets, jamming. 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 Sound it out loud. Everywhere I go. Say kids need, this is my home. I wear
And we've got a team from
I want the world.
St. Kitts Nevis Creative Economy, the Cultural Heritage Unit, Alicia Daniel, Vernon Choi, and we've just been joined by another CE agent. Good morning, guys. What's up?
Good morning, all.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I see we have a new face in the studio that I've not seen before. We are familiar with the Shoy and sorry, I didn't see the lady first, but I'm just gonna leave the lady for last. Miss Daniel Blake, that's Alicia, and the gentleman on the end. Good morning. How are you? Can you tell us your name and what's your role at the department?
My name is Calvin Warner, and I'm an ICH officer at Creative Economy.
Okay. What does the ICH officer do for those persons who are not familiar with the role and
Well,
this?
first off, ICH stands for Intangible Cultural Heritage. So the goal of the officer is to do his research and find ways in which, by getting information from persons to safeguard the culture of the country, people.
Oh, okay. All right.
The purpose is safeguarding our culture.
Okay.
So you're sort of a
Cultural heritage.
documentarian, sort of like research and documentation type thing.
Yes, sir.
In a sense, yes.
Okay.
You can hear, right?
I hear something, a little noise just now, a little talking in the background.
Oh, it's not too clear. Okay.
Oh no, I think maybe you need
Oh,
to
is it
jiggle.
just
You need to play with the
like-
headphones. You need to play with the headphone there. That's right.
And we also
I
have
think where
this.
it plugs in. Yeah.
Yeah. And we also have with us Vernon Choi. Maybe he can also tell us a little bit.
Yes, my
Run on. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, good morning to each and
Okay.
everyone, Radio
Okay.
Land and media as well. Yes, I'm here as a creative within the Creative Economy program, and I just the researches and documents of the elders and also sports people who've been in sports for a very long time and still in existence, and try to keep them, to put them in the archive, as in St. Kitts and Nevis Heritage Cultural Documents.
Yes, and I'm Alicia Daniel Blake, and I am the Research and Communications Officer in the same department, the Department of Creative Economy, Cultural Heritage. And today we have quite a bit to talk to you about. And Mr. Warner is going to be first up because he has something coming right around the corner that he's going to tell us all about.
Morning again to listening audience. Yes. The creative economy will be having our first griot storytelling series. Yeah, griot. Well, I myself was not familiar with that term, so I had to do a little research and familiarize myself with the term griot. And in simple terms, it is basically a West African storyteller, musician, someone who knows the knowledge of music and so forth, the history of the people, and try to safeguard it and pass it on to future generation. That's basically what a griot is, the term. Yes, but the department will be hosting its very own griot storytelling series, which will be on the 2nd of November at Shadwell Great House. We'll be featuring storytellers such as Lachlan Statham, Leonard Stapleton, and Keisha Isaac. We are trying to target persons of various age groups because there will be children's stories, drumbeat stories, and historical stories. Historical stories such as the Buckley's Uprising. So we're inviting all persons, to come on out and, let me get back storytelling. It's been a while. We've had like storytelling, you know what I mean? So I think it will be a great experience, You bring your blankets. If you could bring your flask too, have some, have your hot cup of tea. If you want to bring your little marshmallow, bring your marshmallows as well. But come on out. And also there will be performances by Roy Phipps, famous drumologist, and Alistair Phipps. So the event starts at 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. And remember, November the 2nd, Shadwell Great House. Looking forward to seeing you guys there.
I see there is a part on the poster that says RSVP here. Is there a cutoff to the amount of persons that can attend? And is there a cost to attend as well?
Well, the invite is free. It's free of cost.
Okay.
Yes. So, but I guess we just have a high expectation. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, we want to invite everybody to come, as many different persons that would like to. And picture it. Calden already told you. You're free to bring your blanket. You have a family. You bring several blankets, or you bring a huge blanket, and everybody sits around. And we want to create what some of us knew as children.
Yeah.
When there was evening time, you go outside.
Or the lights went out.
Or the electricity has gone. In recent times, that is when we're forced to recreate it.
Yeah.
But long before that, when I can remember a time when my mother would tell me that there was no electricity at St. Peter's. So Bastia got electricity before St. Peter's and the rest of the island, of course. And so she remembers the days when men used to go up on the poles and literally manually light the lamps. Those were the days when storytelling was the thing, because every evening everybody would go out on the veranda, sit down, and the elders or persons who knew, as was mentioned, the history, because there was also a history component. They would talk about their family history or things that were done in the community, and we can't forget the scary part of it. So, there was that element, and we want to create that sort of feeling, that sort of atmosphere where the fireflies are shining their lights and everybody's attention is captured by the storyteller. So that is what we want. And so we want everybody to come out and get a taste of what it used to be like back then.
Yeah.
Okay, so come on out.
I will go back a little further with this one, storytelling. When we used to finish from school afternoon time, finish do homework around 5 o'clock, and ZZ radio station used to come over here, choo choo. You know what I mean?
Story time.
Story time. And my grandmother, everybody, pot done cook, tea done make. We sit down and we listen story time. And,
wow.
you know, everybody gather around. And then after that, we have a good time.
Okay.
Remembrance fun.
So come on, come all. November the 2nd, 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Shadwell, Great House. See you there.
Yes.
Lovely. So next up we have swank. Now, that's an interesting word, and the older persons like my age will know exactly what swank is.
Me too. Sugar water.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we actually went out on the street and we asked that question, you know. So look out for us. We have on our new Instagram, which is CE Cultural Heritage. So please, those of you who have Instagram accounts, check us out. We are called CE Cultural Heritage. We are going to post our very first interview, our very first street interview, asking people what is swank. But swank is also a creative cultural music challenge. And persons can win up to $10,000. And that means there are 3 sections. There is $2,500 for the best lyrical composition, $2,500 for the best rhythm, and $5,000 for the best people's choice. So that means if somebody is that good, they can go with all 3 categories and win $10,000. Now the registration ends on Friday, the 1st of November. And the winners are going to be announced on Friday, the 29th of November. Now, all you have to do is go onto any of our social media sites, scan the digital flyer, and then you'll be able to go directly to the registration form. So, just a few notes in terms of the competition. It has to be an original composition that was created, produced, and performed by citizens or residents of St. Kitts and Nevis of no less than 2 continuous years. It also has to be produced no earlier than January 1st, 2024. It has to be clean and clear of profanity, vulgarity, or any other offensive content. It has to be formally registered. So that's where you get your smart device and scan the QR code. And it can be of any musical genre. So if you want to sing calypso, you can. You want to sing soca, you can. You want to sing reggae, you can. You want to sing dancehall, you want to sing hip hop, any genre that
Just
you
make
can
sure it's
think
clean.
of. Just make sure that it falls within the other list of criteria. So it can be any genre you desire. Okay, so once again, registration ends Friday, the 1st of November. And don't forget to check us out on Instagram, as well as on Facebook. At Instagram, it's CE Cultural Heritage. On Facebook, it is SKN space ICH or ICH space SKN. And also on YouTube, to hear some of those things that I'm going to post today of people telling us what is swank. You can find us at St. Kitts
I have to look
Culture.
out for that.
All right, next up, we are going to talk about the ICH Core Knowledge Transfer Camp. Take it away, Calvin.
It's me again. Yes, department is having its Christmas session. We previously had a summer session of the ICH Knowledge Transfer Camp, which was from July 29th to August 2nd, which ran smoothly.
Okay.
And on December 9th to December 20th, we'll be having the Christmas session. And we are encouraging parents to listen to your kid when he or she comes home and says, Mommy, I would like to go to the ICH camp, please, because they will be introduced to the actors, the clowns, macajumbies, mummies, string, but they'll be learning cultural sports, so it's something to keep them occupied and keeping the culture alive.
Yep.
And the session starts at 9 to 2:30 p.m. At the St. Johnson's Community Center. And we're targeting kids ages 8 to 16, try to we're encouraging parents to, send your kids. It's a very good learning experience, and once these campers are successful, they will participate in the carnival events. So
nice.
It's a great opportunity, to see your kid or child or children, taking part in, St. Kitts Carnival.
Is this the first time you guys are doing a Christmas camp?
No, you mean
No?
the camp? No, this is
No.
not no, this is not the first camp. We had the first one last year,
Okay.
December.
Oh, okay.
I think Alicia may have mentioned
last
that.
year, December. This is the
The
second one.
Okay.
But we had a first session.
Yeah, that she mentioned
and
in August.
In July.
July to
and
August,
we're
yeah.
now having the Christmas session.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And we would just like to emphasize, parents, those children who came in the summer, they will get first choice in terms of the camp because it's like a continuation of their training.
Okay.
Right? So we would expect that these ones would be the most spectacular during the carnival parade. But we are allowing additional
New entrants.
children,
Okay.
right? So we can have new persons as well. But just to let you know, those from the summer get first dibs. And then afterwards, we would add the others.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have quite a few more activities that are going on in our department, and we'll let Vernon Shaw take it away for the next one, which is the mural project, which continues.
Yes. Greetings again. Yeah. Creative Economy Mural Project, phase 2, is in session already right now, and we're moving along. If you drive around the country, the island road, main roads, you will see in challenges we have a mural already predicting about the Buckley's, the Bloody Point, Buckley's riot.
Oh.
Bloody Point.
Yeah, Bloody Point, yeah. So
Bloody Point Massacre.
Bloody Point Massacre. Yes, and it's looking real nice already. If you pass.
We're in challenges.
Challenges on the wall going down the hill by the daycare center right there.
Oh. Okay.
There's a church on
Yeah.
the corner there.
Uh-huh.
It's the wall across the street going down the
Oh,
hill.
okay. Yeah, that white wall.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That long wall.
Yeah,
too.
I just wanted to make sure I
you
have the
can't-
right
so
one.
you can't miss it.
Exactly. That's
Can't
why I
miss
asked the
it.
question for me and everybody else who may be listening.
We also have one up in Newtown in Bastille by the playfield football field.
Yeah.
Yeah, going to the Frigga Bay Road by the fire station, across from the fire station.
Okay.
And also, there's a lot of program going on differently within the mural project and things. So the artist them that is participating in such project was on the training. So the training is over now, so it's just pure murals on the wall going around the land,
I like
the
that.
island, and making everything look beautiful and a benefit for the community, educational wise and also beautification wise, same way.
Okay.
And we also asking if anybody within the communities would like to come out and volunteer and show their skill and also learn a few skills in painting, mural painting as well. And coming on to the end of the project, we'll be having a professional. I don't want to jump the gun too fast right now, So we have a professional mural drawer coming to St. Kitts to give you a little inspection and the mural drawing just to see how wonderful we have artists in our country and they produce.
Yeah, we won't give out any more secrets, but yes, so as Shoy mentioned, if you are in a particular community, we would like to invite you to come on out. And first of all, you need to seek the artist's permission. So you see the artist doing their work, you come and you ask them, is it possible for me to come and assist? And they will tell you where they can use your assistance. All right? And it's something that's going on throughout the island in prominent walls. And persons in the communities, you're still free to come and speak to us and suggest to us which wall you would like to see painted in your particular community to beautify the area. And then we would put it in our list and we'll get back to you and let you know when such is approved. Because we do have some others already being looked at that we would like to advance to next. So it is a work in progress.
Okay. And a good work in progress as well, as you say, preserving the heritage for our future generations. I am look forward. I'm hoping that I can make that storytelling situation because I want to enjoy something like that. And I'm hoping that others that are listening to this segment of the program is doing the same thing. And don't forget, and I'm also going to watch. I want to hear what they say, Swank.
Lovely.
I want to hear that.
But guess what? We have some more stuff. We have Folklore Galore coming up, and that takes place during the carnival period. And it's basically a folklore performance competition. Last year, we had 2 masquerade troupes, 1 mummy troupe, 1 bull troupe, 1 actors troupe. Well, everybody knows it's St. Peter's actors.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I come from, St. Peter's. So big up St. Peter's. And so we also, that will take place on Wednesday, the 18th of December, down at the circus. But you need to come to the Department of Creative Economy and register for that.
Talk about the cheat code bar at the office just across the street.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so we're located up at the top of Victoria Road, where you can find our office by coming into the Victoria Road Preschool parking lot, and then come to the back, pass through that parking lot, and we are right there. That's the Department of Creative Economy. And Shaw, you have one more thing you would like to say about the volunteers that we are invited?
Yes, the volunteers then will make a good initiative towards the project, because it will speed up everything, and we'll get to see the art more. I'm excited. I'm very excited to see the murals on the wall and what they predict of,
Yeah.
And they tell a good story and a good historical story too,
Yeah, we do have a volunteer program on our social media as well, and what you can do is you can scan it again. You get your smart device, you scan the barcode, and the volunteers that we need are for any area that we are doing our work on, and you'll be able to assist us, whether it was we had a consultation where we could have had more volunteers. We had a few, but we are always open to getting more volunteers. We have the mural project, as Mr. Shaw mentioned, even in terms of Folklore Galore, in assisting us with the children on the road for Carnival. That is also a necessary area. So if you are interested in anything that we have spoken about, give us a call. You can call us at 662-9053 or 467 1916. Right. Yes, 467-1916. So we can be reached there. We can be reached on social media, just to mention once again, at Facebook, at SKN space ICH, also at ICH space SKN, on YouTube at St. Kitts Culture, and now on Instagram at CE space Cultural Heritage. So check us out. We have a lot going on. And remember, later today, in fact, as soon as I leave here, we'll be posting another Instagram post about what persons said when we spoke to them on the street about what is swank.
I like that.
Okay. So it's time to talk about sugar water and move on to other aspects of island tea.
Yeah.
It's 9:36. Don't forget, look out for all these great events being put on by Creative Economy. And why is this person calling me now? Anyway, I'll give them a piece of my mind during the commercial break.
Found the sound 98.9 WINN FM.
Fruta full of island thing. Real fruit juice, not full of vitamin. Pop open the goodness, just dive in. Fruta every night, fruta every morning.
It's the amazing taste and quality in fruit juice you've come to know and love. Anytime, anywhere, any occasion. Fruta is your tastier, better, healthier choice.
We got the vibes, fruta. Real nice, fruta.
And for the families, remember to pick up the 1 liter.
The Rotary Club of Lyomega presents its 18th primary school spelling bee competition. Primary schools from across St. Kitts will battle for the title Rotary Spelling Bee Champ 2024. Come on out and support your schoolmate, neighbor, family, or friend. Free giveaways and a packed snack bar await you. Thursday, October 24th at 4 p.m. The place to be is the ECCB Sir Cecil Jacobs Auditorium to cheer on your favorite speller. Admission is free. Don't miss the Rotary Club of Lyomega 2024 Primary School Spelling Bee Competition. Premier partners, Rams, Halle Orange, Fruiter, and Shirley.
Similar know about you, but me love sing it's a Nevis bad.
Soca Zone presents Showcase. Is a brand new show. It's an open mic edition for the artists. You can come and showcase your talent, where you can sing, do what you feel like, freestyle. If you want to be a singer from how long, but don't get the push down the courage, this is the show for you. Every first Saturday, every month, we're going to be doing a show for the artists them. This is what the open mic edition is all about. Host Taslim, aka DJ Raspy of Tough Out Sound, and Scratchy Bama. We don't know. Soca Zone 98.9, WINN FM, Soca Zone Showcase. Every first Saturday, every month, Soca Zone presents Showcase Artist Thing 98.9.
Know about you, but me love sing it's a Nevis bad. Listen me, yo, Jassy, celebration time. Every time we link up, yo, tomorrow, come, let's do this. One battle long home, and me not even jump yet. One load on me go, I drink it till the sunset, and as me wake up, man I drink it with me friends. Then I look in a boss, got me up to the ceiling. What a wonderful feeling, I can't believe it. Because I'm drunk feeling. What a wonderful feeling, I can't believe it. I need a battle now, I need a battle now. That is all I need. Let's have a party. I need a battle now, I need a battle now. That is all I need. Let's have a party. Start to drink up now, drink up. Start to drink up now, drink up. Start to drink up now, drink up. Let's have a party. Start to drink up now, drink up. Start to drink up now, drink up. Start to drink up now. Let's have a party. Bassman calling, I forget I had work today. Rum drinking, say no the mood don't change already. Just load up big cup, so we drinking non-stop. Right now we can't get enough. What got me up to the ceiling? What a wonderful feeling, I can't believe it. Cause I jump feeling. What a wonderful feeling, I can't believe it. I need a battle now, I need a battle now. That is all I need. Let's have a party. I need a battle now, I need a battle now. That is all I need. Let's have a party. Start to drink up now, drink up. Start to drink up now, drink up. Start to drink up now, drink up. Let's have a party. Start to drink up now, drink up. Start to drink up now, drink up. Start to drink up now, drink up. Let's have a party. I need a battle now, I need a battle now. That is all I need. Let's have a party. I need a battle now, I need a battle now. That is all I need. Let's have a party. Start to drink up now, drink up. Start to drink up now, drink up. Start to drink up now, drink up. Let's have a party. Start to drink up now, drink up. Start to drink up now, drink up. Start to drink up now, drink up. Let's have a party. Party done. Now we go.
Okay, and we are back with Island Tea. It's what time is it? It's 90 minutes until 10 o'clock. Hey.
Hold on. One time I can hear you and one time I can't. I don't know, boy. I'm having a field day. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Yeah, so that stuff sounds very interesting. Huh? That creative economy stuff.
Yeah, very.
Swank.
Yeah.
The griot thing.
I love the era that I'm from.
And also the idea that you're having a camp, like a Christmas camp, Because when she mentioned it, I was like, oh, that's actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
'Cause the
Second part of it.
Because somebody, like, I think in my kids, they're home for like a month. So, yeah.
But remember, the summer kids are getting preference, huh? The kids that were there before,
Yeah,
the kids that are already advanced and getting excited because Carnival is coming. They're going to be part of it. Those are the children that are
that rules out my kids.
Well, not really, but just to let you know that, yeah. No problem at all. Let me just see what. Every time I'm waiting for something to come up, it doesn't come up. Oh boy. Okay, let's do this. Okay. And there is an article here on Loop News. It says Tropical Storm Oscar swirls towards the Bahamas after hitting Cuba as a hurricane. So Tropical Storm, and this was posted an hour ago, Tropical Storm Oscar chugged towards the Bahamas on Tuesday after making landfall in Cuba as a Category 1 hurricane, killing at least 6 people. Our condolences with those persons over there in Cuba once again, as it unleashed heavy rains on an island also hit by an unrelative massive power outage. Oscar was located 45 miles at 75 kilometers southeast of Long Island in the Bahamas on Tuesday morning. It had winds of 40 miles per hour, 65 kph, and was moving north-northeast at 12 miles per hour. According to the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Oscar is at best barely a tropical storm at this time. The center said it was expected to drop up to 5 inches, that's 13 centimeters of rain across the southeastern Bahamas, with up to 8 inches, 20 centimeters in isolated areas. A tropical storm warning was in effect for the central and southeastern Bahamas. The storm made history as the smallest recorded hurricane, with a wind field of only about 6 miles, that's 10 kilometers across. It caught many by surprise as it made landfall in Iguana Island in the Bahamas on Saturday, and a second landfall in eastern Cuba late Sunday. It's not often we see a colossal failure in hurricane forecasting. Michael Laurie, a hurricane specialist and storm surge expert, wrote in an analysis. He noted no models indicated Oscar would strengthen into a hurricane. Oscar dropped at least 15 inches, that's 38 centimeters of rain in parts of eastern Cuba on Monday, with forecast warning of heavy flooding and possible landslide. The 6 deaths were reported in Guantanamo. The storm hit as Cuba struggles to recover from massive blackouts that sparked a handful of small protests and a stern government warning that any unrest will be punished. Oscar is the 15th named storm and 10th hurricane of the Atlantic hurricane season, which begins June 1st and ends November 30th. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration predicted an above-average Atlantic hurricane season this year because of record warm ocean temperatures. It forecasts 17 to 25 named storms before the season ends, with 4 to 7 major hurricanes of Category 3 or higher. Meanwhile, Tropical Storm Christy swirled over open waters in the Pacific Ocean. It was located 375 miles at 605 kilometers west-southwest of Acapulco, Mexico on Tuesday. It had maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour and was moving west-northwest at 15 miles per hour. Christy was expected to become a hurricane by Tuesday night.
So
is it this Tuesday night? Because we don't need any more hurricanes.
Tuesday.
You saw some. I had put something in the chat also with the. I think is it the weather center. There's some center in Barbados. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but they say we're expected to have this hot weather until March of next year.
But it hasn't been so hot the last few days.
It's been cool, but it has days. It had a day in October. I think, when was it? Was it Monday? Some day where it was extremely hot, even though the rain fell.
This week? Really?
No, not this week. No, not this Monday.
Okay.
Probably sometime last week.
Well, let's hope the model. This is a computer model miss again, because.
Oh boy.
Look, you were just talking about that storm that the
Oscar?
models didn't. That's interesting, huh? But I had the story follow up on the Cuba thing. The Chinese communists reportedly frustrated and perplexed at communist Cuba's resistance to free market solutions. So the Chinese are trying to get the Cubans to adopt their have your cake and eat it approach to capitalism, communism, and economics. What I mean by have your cake and eat it. Here it is. I remember the Russians were famously they used to have these famous rants against capitalism and free market economics and so on. Well, the Chinese managed to somehow get the two to live in a sort of, let's say it's not perfect, but a sort of harmony. I think some economists call it control. What do they call it? Control economics, or I forgot. There's a term I remember I saw, a very interesting term that an economist used for their style of governance, where it's basically communism fused with a sort of capitalist approach, which is very interesting, which is why they're now the second largest economy. But anyway, an economic collapse in the communist controlled economy of Cuba is straining its relations with communist China, resulting in an unexpected report. Cuba experienced a massive electrical blackout due to deteriorating infrastructure and damaging embargoes from the U.S., but rather than implement free market solutions, the communist government insists on feigning with ideological purity. The strained relationship is reflected in a precipitous drop of Chinese imports to Cuba, which went from 1.7 billion US in 2017 to 1.1 billion. According to a report in the Financial Times, Chinese officials are exasperated with their Caribbean islands compatriots. They cite economists and diplomats briefed in the situation between China and Cuba. The sources said that China publicly supported Cuba's vertically planned economy, but in private, Chinese officials have urged the island regime to follow the Chinese economic model with market-oriented elements. The report said Chinese officials are perplexed and frustrated as Cuban leaders overlooking glaring dysfunction in order to perpetuate the state-run economy. The strained relationship is reflected in a precipitous drop, which I said, I hate it when these articles repeat stuff like that. Cuba is in its fourth day without power to about 10 million residents. Communist leaders blamed U.S. embargoes for the worsening power situation, but U.S. officials denied the accusations. The United States is not to blame for today's blackout on the island or the overall energy situation in Cuba, said the spokesperson for the White House National Security Council. Some Cuban residents have protested against the government's failures by banging pots and pans while disrupting traffic, which you alluded to earlier. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel